I want you to get better with your boxing. In today's video, I have 3 tips that will help you, especially if you're a beginner boxer. But don't get it twisted. These are great tips for those that compete at the professional and the amateur level as well. Let's get right into it.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the win.
Alright, so I have 3 drills for you here today. Let's work on the first one, which I think is the most important one, and it is context. Understanding what you are doing on the bag and why. What goal are you trying to accomplish? By understanding that, you'll start to refine it a little bit more when it comes into the details. For example, are you working a certain strategy on the bag? That'll help you understand if you're supposed to throw for speed, for power, from what distance you are working. Are you doing it for conditioning, to throw non-stop punches, to build your cardio and your endurance up? Realistically, it should be a good balance of both of those tips. But for now, to simplify things, especially for my beginners, understand this. This bag is your opponent. You want to treat it like an opponent. That way you can visualize certain things a little bit more, and that'll help you when it comes to your technique, when it comes to understanding how fast, how hard you need to throw, when it comes to understanding how far you need to be from the bag. Visualize, context. This bag is your opponent. What are we going to be doing to your opponent today? So tip number 2, going off of tip number 1, once you understand the purpose of the drill or the purpose of the combination you are throwing on that bag, understand what to do when you're at certain distances from that bag. I know it may seem confusing. Let me simplify it a little bit more. If this bag was my opponent and I am standing closer to my opponent on the inside range, I wouldn't necessarily drop my hands, bounce around, and catch my breath. What I would do is I would take a step back where I'm a little farther away from my opponent, and that's when I could shake my arms off, bounce around, and catch my breath. For example, one more time, I'm not just gonna stand in front of my opponent with my hands down as I catch my breath. That's creating a bad habit right there. Make it a little more realistic. Take a step back, bounce around a little bit, shake your arms off, and when you're ready, you'll come back in. All right, just by understanding that, you'll start to be even more strategic when you hit the heavy bag. For example, again, if I'm farther away and I need to get a little closer, no one's just gonna let me step at them, right? As far as a realistic boxing match or realistic fight, I'm gonna be using my head movement, my jab, or my footwork in order to get closer to the bag. So again, number 1 tip, understand the context. What are you doing on that bag? Number 2 tip, be realistic about the situation you are in when you're throwing punches on that bag. Treat this bag like an opponent. It'll start to give you a little more urgency when you throw your shots. My 3rd and final tip for all my beginners when you're hitting the heavy bag is to always keep it moving. So simplify things. Don't get too complicated with it. 3 options here. If you're hitting the bag, you're either throwing your punches, your combinations on the bag, or you're moving your head, or you're moving your feet. You're doing one of those 3 things. You're throwing your combinations, you're moving your head, or you're moving your feet. Throwing your combos, moving your head, or moving your feet. Quick recap on those 3 tips for my beginners when hitting your heavy bag. Understand the purpose of the drill, the situation you're in. Number 2, be realistic about the situation you're in. Apply certain moves, combinations, drills, punches to that situation. And number 3, always keep it moving. You're either throwing punches, you're moving your head, or you're moving your feet. I hope these 3 boxing tips help you become a better boxer. I hope you become a better boxer in the gym so you can elevate yourself outside the gym. I'm gonna leave you with that Maestre mentality. Keep elevating yourself so you can elevate those around y'all. I'll see you next time in the next video. Peace.
I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the win.